the age of 13 years old, I ran away from home and ended up in a place of addiction, a place where I had lost purpose in my life. I didn't know where I was going to lay my head, and eventually ended up in a place where I was addicted to so many things that I didn't know who I was or where I was. I didn't know if I had the strength to keep going. Eventually, I ended up in a place where I started to hang out with gangs, and these people were quite violent. These people were quite relentless in getting what they wanted. And I started to hang out with these people, and we started to, in a sense, destroy the lives of other people through violence, through stealing, and through dealing drugs as well. One day something happened. I remember being in a nightclub, 16 years old, on the island of Malta, where I was legally in a nightclub. Now, as I was sitting there, a group of friends come into the club and say, "Rob, quickly, you have to leave this place because these people are looking for you and they're going to kill you." And I was terrified, I was lost, I was confused. I didn't know where to go. I had run away from home. I didn't have a relationship with my parents. I didn't have a relationship with good friends because I had lost everything. I destroyed everything in my life because I was afraid. I was afraid of not fitting in. I was afraid of not being liked. I was afraid of not being popular. I was afraid of so many things that I did everything I could to be those things that I thought I needed, and in the process destroyed the lives of those around me. So I come to this place where I have nothing except a group of people who are looking for me to kill me. And I run home to my parents' home, and I knock at the door and I say, "Mom, Dad, you have to hide me because these people are looking for me to kill me." And I get locked in my room. 8 weeks, don't leave my room. I don't leave that place because I'm terrified. They don't find me, they find my best friend, and what they do is they corner him and they surround him while he was at a nightclub, and they get his head and basically they smash it against the door. And he ends up with a broken skull. And these people are looking for me, and I'm terrified. Every morning I wake up and I think, how am I going to survive this day? I would cry, I'd kneel on my bed, and I would rock on my bed, just wanting this pain to go away, this loneliness to go away. I would harm myself just so that this emotional pain would be distracted for a moment. Anything but this pain. Because you see, when we go through emotional pain, when we go through moments of depression and anxiety, there is nothing worse. Any physical pain, I would choose any physical pain over this emptiness and loneliness any moment. I couldn't bear it. In fact, even Jesus on the cross, you see, they say his most desperate moment was not the moment that he was crucified in physical pain, but that moment where he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" And that moment of loneliness, of emptiness, was that moment of desperation. Why do I say this? Because Jesus himself knows what it means to go through those moments of hell on earth. Those moments of loneliness, those moments of separation, those moments of anxiety, those moments where we don't know we're going to have the strength to take the next breath. We don't know we're going to have the strength to walk out of the room we're in. And this is where I was, lost, confused on my bed, just rocking on my bed, hitting my head against the wall, cutting myself, just wanting this pain to go away, but it wouldn't go away. And so I had no choice, in a sense, but to start thinking about ways to get rid of the hell, the loneliness I was in. You see, this desire in my heart then began to stop existing. If that was the only way to get out of the darkness, then I would do it. But here's the thing, I didn't want to die forever. I just wanted to die just enough to take a breath, just enough to move away from that pain just for a moment, because all I wanted was to be happy again, to be peaceful again, to be able to breathe again, to be able to love again, to be able to feel again. And I couldn't breathe, I couldn't feel, I couldn't think of how I was going to survive this. And it was in this moment of desperation, this moment of darkness, that I remembered something. A memory that came to my mind, a memory that changed my mind forever. You see, I know that my mom, she struggled. She struggled, and I saw her struggle when I was young, when I was very young. And she struggled with her own thought process. She struggles in her own life, and she talks about this as well. And I remember my very first memory. I don't know if you remember your very first memory, but my very first memory, I must have been 3 or 4 years old. And I remember my mom washing the dishes. And I remember her crying, just crying, washing the dishes. And as she's washing the dishes, she stops, she puts the dishes down, and she throws her hands in the air, and she starts arguing with the wall in front of her. And then she puts her hands down in the hot water again, and she continues to wash those dishes, and then throws her hand in the air again and starts arguing against the wall. And for some reason, in this dark moment of my life, I come to this place where I think about that memory. Why am I thinking about this memory? Well, it started to make sense to me there in my place of desperation, that my mom too was in a place of desperation. She was in a place where she was hopeless. But she knew one thing that I, till that point, didn't think of. And that was to throw her hands towards a God she knew somehow was there. He felt 1,000,000 miles away, but she knew that if she cried out to the only place she could, to a God who seemed this 1,000,000 miles away, my God, why have you forsaken me? And she cries out to this God, and she continues to cry. Now, I don't remember in that memory what happened after that. But what I do remember is that I wanted to pray that same prayer. I knew that God existed, but I didn't think that God was interested in me. So I too, in this moment of desperation, looked at the wall in front of me, and I cried out, God, if you are there, please save me. I cannot live this life anymore. I cannot stay in this darkness anymore. I cannot breathe, and I know that you can give me this ruah, this breath of life that I need. Now, a long story short, I eventually came out of that place of darkness to, in hindsight, what seemed like a miracle after a miracle after a miracle. But my story is not unique. Many people struggle with this. Many people go through moments where they feel alone and lonely and desperate. But how beautiful it is for those who know that even in their darkest moment, they can cry out to a God who is there, who seems 1,000,000 miles away. Just like Jesus, he didn't walk away from the Father, but he cried out to the Father. He didn't get a solution then, but he still cried out. And that cry alone was enough to give him hope to hold on till his last breath.